Hey, it's After Hours on July 16th, 2026. I wanted to talk about our exclusive partnership with Pylon very briefly, and we're going to compare it to some rates that are out there, some national averages. Pylon, our exclusive partnership with Pylon, it's a fintech-driven first mortgage company. Loans can close as fast as the third parties can keep up with them. So a purchase in theory or a refinance transaction could be closed in as fast as 8 days if everything worked out perfectly. So let's just take a quick peek at national averages today in mortgage rates. Now, this is 30-year fix, 6.68%. Before we read too deep, there are some caveats to this. This is the adjusted rate as if there were no points. And so if the rate were actually 6.5% or 6.375% with some points, it has been adjusted so that it's a par rate with no cost for the actual rate. And it is also 75% loan to value with 780 FICO. Again, this is national data, national averages, 6.68% on a 30-year fix, 6.84%. And that's for conventional, and then for jumbo, 6.84%. And if you hop over to this other one here, HousingWire, this is data from Poly here. But this is a little bit different. This is based on actual locked rates with borrowers of all credit profiles across the country right now. And that is at 6.8%. So let's get to what Pylon looks like. With Pylon, though, has to be a very clean scenario, has to be W-2, can't have any self-employment income, and you can't rely on rental properties to have to qualify. The only time that you can use rental income is if you are departing your existing residence or your primary residence and moving into another property and renting out the property that you're leaving, or if you are buying an investment property. In those two situations, you can use investment property in the qualifying. Otherwise, it's strictly 100% W-2 income. And it doesn't mean if you have an investment properties that you cannot do these type of loans, but you have to make enough W-2 income to carry everything, principal, interest, tax, insurance, and association dues on those properties, plus everything, all the liabilities that's on your credit report. So it's not for every single scenario, but if it is, the pricing is phenomenal. Let's take a look. First scenario here, it's going to be $1 million purchase price, $750,000 loan. So that's 75 LTV, loan to value ratio, with a 780 FICO score. And 6.25 pays the client back $1,928 to use towards closing costs. National average was up at 6.68%, so somewhere in between here. And that was the no points. So in a scenario where there was no points here at 6.68% on this conventional loan, this pricing is about $13,000 some odd dollars better in between. It's because it's right in between those numbers there. But if you went for the lowest rate that didn't have a cost, you'd be at 6.25. So that's significant. Now let's expand this. Let's look at a jumbo scenario. This right here, 2.4 million purchase price, $1.8 million loan. How many people are qualifying or buying a $2.5 million house with just W-2 income and they don't have anything else going on? Hard to say really, but if that's you and if you're out there, you do not need a banking relationship, and this can move very quickly. So that 25% down, and this is actually almost the same exact pricing for 20% down. At 6.375, that jumbo 30-year fix costs $702. It's basically the same if we just did 20% down. When you get up into these jumbo loan amounts, typically the big banks are going to want more money down. Classically, people with banking relationships, or if they've got hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars invested with these banks, the banks are probably going to provide rates that are untouchable. But this opportunity, this partnership with Pylon helps us get a little bit closer to that, and you don't need to have a banking relationship. And all of the underwriting is fintech-driven, verification of employment, verification of assets. So 20% down on that particular scenario, $1.92 million loan, we're at 6.375% with 1,018 in points, or 6.5% with almost a $5,000 lender credit. comparing that back to what we saw here, this probably, this kind of takes in the whole scope of everything. Let's take a look at one more scenario. 10% down on jumbo financing, 2.225 million purchase price, 780 FICO once again, just to match the others. But what are the rates for this? We're still sitting at 6.375 with only $1,060 in points to get that rate on a $2 million loan, 10% down. When we get into jumbo territory, certain loan amounts, you do need a certain amount of reserves. And again, has to be W-2 income driven. It's a tighter fit, but if you can fit in this box, you can get some smoke in pricing. So this is changing the game. We can provide some amazing opportunities and blow out the competition. And don't forget, I'm not charging any processing fees. So that saves the clients anywhere from $500 to $1,500 off the top. In addition to this rate here, if we went with the national average, you'd be getting a $12,000 lender credit on this particular setup, or you'd be getting a much lower rate, much lower payment. Yeah, I think it's just an incredible opportunity. It takes a lot to be a partner with Pylon, and we have infused our technology with them. The whole goal here is to make it more affordable for the customers, make things easier, advance along with technology, and just get better and better as we go along. So if this catches your eye, or you're just curious, and you want to figure out more, you want to see how it fits for your particular situation, reach out. Don't be afraid, even if it's just for fact finding or information. Happy to build upon that and go from there. Thank you so much.